to a brand new episode of What's Cooking at Vince and Joe's. I'm your host, Katie Shimatero, and we have another very exciting episode for you today. Are you tired of the typical outdoor barbecue, cooking hot dogs and hamburgers? Then today we're going to show you how to prepare a traditional New England style clam bake. Today I'm here with Executive Chef Neil. Thanks for joining us today, Neil.
Oh, thank you very much.
So can you start by explaining to viewers what exactly a traditional clam bake is?
Well, a traditional clam bake, I had to bring it to the ocean. But since we don't have the ocean, I'm going to have to bring the ocean to Vince and Joe's. So now what they normally do is they dig a pit and they get a bunch of rocks. They get a nice campfire and they heat them up. But we can't do that because I have to bring a bunch of sand here. So what we're going to do is we got a nice pot and we're going to do a traditional clam bake in the pot.
Awesome.
So what we're going to do is now everything always starts with a good broth. So we're going to put in, we've got some water down here, put in a simmer. We got some chorizo sausage, put that on there, good flavor. We're gonna put some onions. And all this is gonna do is some good flavor, and then you can also eat all this stuff after. We're gonna put in some butter. Got 4 sticks of butter. Now it looks like a lot, but remember you got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. And everybody's gonna dip all this in there later on.
Great.
And then we have some Old Bay seasoning. I love Old Bay. Old Bay makes all seafood taste great. And we have some garlic. I just smashed up the garlic just to release the flavors and put it on in. Give it a little whirl around.
Now, is this just your specific recipe, or is this like a very traditional recipe?
It's a little bit of a spin. A little bit of spin because we don't have the rocks. See, what they did is they heated up the rocks. And then they would put the tomatoes, the potatoes, the corn, everything on top of it, and it would cook from the rocks. And the water that was like inside the seafood would steam itself. So we don't have any of that, so today we're going to put some water in here.
Great.
And then what I like to do, I got some fresh herbs. So I got some parsley and I also have some tarragon. We're going to put that down there. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit. And we're going to bring it to a boil. All right. And then what you want to do is you want to layer everything in. So we have some great seaweed. Now this tastes like the ocean, right? Mm-hmm. So it's got a little bit of sea salt inside of it. So we're going to put some of that down here.
Oh, great.
All right. And then I have some potatoes. We're going to put this. Now, if your potatoes are like really big, maybe you want to cook them in here for like 10 minutes ahead of time, and then start stacking everything else up because everything cooks pretty much in 15-20 minutes. You're pretty much all done.
Okay. Now, what temperature do you have this at?
You just bring it to a boil.
Just bring it to a boil.
Bring it to a boil, and be careful when you put stuff down here. You don't want it to splash up, burn your arm, and everything. Yeah, keep on. And make sure you wash everything. Get everything washed, seafood especially. And what I did here now, I got some clams, and I washed these in the water and everything, and they have like a little beard on them. You clean them up and you pull it off.
Right.
All right. Now again, we're going to layer with a little bit more seaweed. Okay. Now you want to put the stuff that takes the longest first. So you got the potatoes, then we're going to put some lobsters inside of it. Look at these things. Nice whole live lobsters. Throw them in here on the top. There we go. Make sure you clean them up, wash them good.
Now, is this easy enough for someone that maybe doesn't even cook?
This is the easiest one-pot dish ever.
Great.
You can't screw this up. Everybody will love it. So put in more seaweed. Okay. Then we're gonna start putting all our other shellfish. Put these on top. We're gonna put our corn in the middle. Just like this. This couldn't get any easier. Throw it on top. You can shuck it, husk it if you want. It's up to you.
Now, how many people would this size feed?
This is a little bit more. This is probably about 10 people, but normally we have the recipes for 6 people.
Okay.
I made it a little bigger for the show so everybody could see everything. And put a little more seaweed on top.
Is the seaweed something you actually eat, or is that just...
No, just for flavor and looks. Put that on top. Now the shrimp I like to put last because this is something that cooks pretty fast. Put that on top. This looks awesome. I need to do one of these at my house for a party.
Yeah.
My employees would love doing one of these.
Yeah, this looks amazing.
And then what you want to do is just pour over some wine right on top. Okay? Then we're going to turn it up. We're going to set it and forget it.
And
for
how
about
long?
15 minutes or
15
so.
minutes?
15 minutes, yep.
Great. Oh, easy enough.
That's easy pie.
So if we really just recap here, you kind of just stack all the seafood. You put the things that cook the fastest right on the top, like
Yep.
the shrimp. We're gonna let this boil and we'll come back after a quick break and see how it's doing.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Steinhurst. My husband and I are owners of Steiny's Tavern. We're located on the northwest corner of 25 Mile and Shelby Road. We offer a unique dining experience from our restaurant to our off-site catering. Everything we make is from scratch. We utilize Michigan-made products whenever possible. We're open 7 days a week. We offer daily lunch and dinner specials, and we carry the most craft beers on draft in all of Macomb County. So plan on coming out to Steiny's Tavern, where you come for the food and stay for the party.
Welcome back to What's Cooking at Vincent Joe's. I'm here with Seafood Director Dennis Seeley. Thanks for joining us today, Dennis.
Thank you, Katie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Tell us a little bit about some of the seafoods that people like to kind of stick to when they're doing a clam bake.
For sure. The traditional New England clam bake usually consists of live lobsters. Usually weighs about 1.25 pounds, mussel, Prince Edward Island mussel, and little neck clams. When you're buying clams, you want to avoid clams that are open, kind of like similar to this. This is the clams that you don't want to buy. You want something that are closed, like this ones. And you don't want to buy something too small because this it's hard to eat and it's hard to deal with. You want little neck clams like this. The meat are tender, not as tough as the cherry stone. Okay. Also, you want to add some shrimp. This is a wild-caught shrimp from Galveston, Texas. All the recipe that you're looking at here are all USA caught. After that, you just want to add your assorted vegetables, your corn and your red potatoes, and that's it.
Now, this is the traditional way to do it. Can people add other seafoods to the clam bake, or no, you have to stick to these?
You can add, you can pre-style any way you want it. Like, there's no rules in clam bake. Some people would add crawfish, some will add some andouille sausage, but your normal New England clam bake usually consists of just live lobster. Very simple, 4 seafood ingredients.
Great. Now, these are all things you can purchase here at Vincent Joe's. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, absolutely. We have a good tie with Boston Fresh Seafood. Usually just give me about 48-hour window. Our delivery on Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays. Give me about 48 hours and we can bring this fresh products in.
Now, Vincent Joe's offers a special deal here for people wanting to do a clam bake. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. For $19.95 per person, you get live lobsters, mussels, shrimp, and little neck clams.
Great. And you need to bring in 6 people to get that deal, right?
Correct.
And can you tell us a little bit about the size of the lobsters?
Sure. Well, this lobster right here weighs about 1.25 to 1.5 pounds. You don't really want to go too big. The meat kind of gets a little tougher. So 1.25 to 1.5 pounds is your ideal size for live lobster for clam bake.
Wonderful. So if you're looking to do your own traditional New England style clam bake in your own backyard, then stop on down at Vincent Joe's. And for $19.99 per person with a 6-person minimum, you can get everything you need for your own clam bake. We're gonna step over and talk to Ted, who's a sommelier here at Vincent Joe's, to see what beers and wines pair best with seafood. I'm here with sommelier Ted Ross. Thanks for joining us today, Ted.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So tell me about some of the wines and beers you brought today that specifically pair well with seafood.
Well, I went with some pretty different styles of beers and wines today because you can do a lot with a dish like this. We'll start with the beers. This time of year, there's nothing hotter than Oktoberfest beers coming out of Germany. These are lagers that are produced in the early spring and then lagered or stored throughout the summer and served for this time of year for the harvest. So you're going to get really clean and crisp and refreshing flavors like you would out of traditional German lagers. But these tend to be a little more amber in color and a little richer as the weather gets a little colder. So they love dishes with any kind of salt or savoriness to it, shellfish works great. I mean, it's not a typical dish that you'd find in the south of Germany where these are from, but nonetheless works really, really well. Another style of beer that I thought would be great is a Belgian wheat beer, or a wit beer as they call it in Belgium. This is Blanche de Namur, made by Brasserie du Bosque. And this is a wheat beer that's made with some licorice root, some bitter orange peel, and some coriander. The citrus notes and the spiciness from the licorice work really well with shellfish especially, so that's really nice with a clam bake. And then getting into the wines, one of our favorite producers out of Michigan, this is Fenn Valley's Pinot Grigio. Fenn Valley is located on the west side of Michigan near Fennville, hence the name. So you're talking right down here in the mitten. And this producer has the privilege of working with slightly warmer temperatures than the rest of our northern producers do in Michigan. So they tend to have whites and warmer climate varietals with more expressive, more fruit-forward characteristics that you would get from a warmer climate production. That's not always the case, but a good general rule of thumb. So we love their Pinot Grigio. It's floral, it's fresh, and just kind of versatile and good with everything. And then I went with one of my favorite shellfish whites. This is Chateau La Cerisière, and this is their Muscadet. So Muscadet is a style of wine produced in the western side of France in the Loire Valley. The grape is called Melon de Bourgogne, and this grape is grown on actually ancient Atlantic beds. So when you pick up the soil in these vineyards, you're looking at old shells and Atlantic Ocean material. And the grapes actually pick up on that, and they get some minerality and they get some saltiness from that. And it pairs really well with shellfish for that reason.
Wonderful.
So I really wanted to include that. It's organically produced, it's hand harvested, really, really fun stuff. Chateau La Cerisière. And then for the people that must have red wine, no matter what they're eating, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it is what it is. I went with Tenuta Olembauda. This is Barbera, the grape varietal grown in the Asti region of Piedmont in the north of Italy. Barbera is a really cool grape varietal when it's grown in the north of Italy because it's got a really pronounced acidity and it tastes really good with food, especially lighter style foods like shellfish or poultry or something like that. It's not going to overpower the delicate flavors. It's going to accentuate the flavors with that acidity. So these all work really well. I mean, like I said, that's a versatile dish. You can do a lot with it.
Now, Ted, one of the wines you brought today was the Fenn Valley, which is a product made here in Michigan. Are there other specific Michigan products that would go good with a clam bake?
There are, absolutely. You know, like I mentioned, Fenn Valley's got the benefit of having a warmer climate to grow their grapes in, and we're talking a very thin margin here between the north of Michigan and the southwestern side. But that matters when you're talking fine wine production. These guys actually make Sauvignon Blanc that is world class, and I've never seen Sauvignon Blanc able to ripen in other parts of Michigan. So that's really noteworthy in itself. If you head up into the north in the cooler climates, dry Riesling, Riesling when it's made into a drier style wine works really well with dishes like this, as well as unoaked Chardonnays. And both of those grape varietals really like the cooler climate that Michigan provide. So yeah, we're doing a lot of great stuff in the state of Michigan.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And of course, Michigan products are always a hot commodity, so you can look for these particular wines in store. When we return from a quick commercial break, we'll show you how to set up a tablescape for your nautical themed dinner.
Hi, this is Dr. Antelek at The Gentle Dentist. If you or a loved one has had a bad experience at the dentist, then we can help you. We articulate this best with our mission statement, which is, we use our God-given talents and abilities to serve all with Christ-like compassion by listening to their needs first and then delivering uncompromised care with respect and integrity. So if your smile isn't becoming to you, then you should be coming to us.
Come enjoy some pizza pie at American Pie Pizza Buffet. Dig into an all-you-can-eat pizza, salad, and dessert buffet. Pick from over 30 different specialty pizzas, including the famous barbecue chicken and BLT. This family-friendly establishment is the perfect place to host a party or fundraiser, challenge a friend to a game, and now at American Pie, we are serving a wide selection of beer and wine. Dine in or purchase your favorite pizza to go. You can't miss out on our exceptionally low price. Located at the southwest corner of 22 and Shaner. American Pie.
Experience it.
Welcome back to What's Cooking at Vincent Joe's. I'm here with Vinny Sherino, who's going to show us how to decorate a table for a nautical themed dinner. Thanks for being here, Vinny.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what we have going on here. There's quite a lot.
A lot, but then again, it's basically very simple. One thing you want to do is have everything available at the table, so this way once your guests sit down, you can enjoy your meal without having to leave the table. Very functional. This is a one-dish meal, of course. Everything is right here. Like I said, keep it simple. Nautical theme is always nice. Blue, white, green. But blue and white is the best. A lot of shells, seashells that are available in a lot of local stores. You can pick them up or get them on the seashore, whether it's freshwater, saltwater, it doesn't matter. And then again, you have these large seashells which can be used for the condiments, whether it's lemon, whether it's a nice spicy hot sauce, whether it's butter. And this way, a bucket for your shells for when they're done eating the clams or the lobsters. For all the shells go into the bucket, you can have one at each end. Crackers so they can crack the hard shells on the seafood. And that's basically it. Like I said, keep it simple. A lot of these things, and then again, we did some carvings here, some fruit carvings. That's a clam shell filled with strawberries. Again, you don't eat a lot of fruit when you eat seafood, but one simple fruit is nice, whether it's filled with one kind of melon, one kind of berry. And of course, what's the clam bake without jaws in it? Here's a shark, little centerpiece, again filled with strawberries or one simple fruit, and that's about it.
So you talked a little bit about the placeware and specifically the cracker.
The nutcracker. Nutcrackers, the seafood cracker.
Can you tell us or show us how to do that for people that maybe have never done this before?
Yeah, you only need this for the lobster claws and of course the on this particular set, probably that's the only thing you really need it for, because the clams are all open, the steam opens them up, and it's very simple. That's it. And then you just
and the meat just comes out.
The meat just comes out. You get a fork and you just scoop it out of there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, it's very, very simple.
Would you also use the same type of cracker for things like crab?
Crab and lobster. Because everything else, you just don't. Like I said, the clams, when you cook them, they open up, and then you just scoop it out with a knife or a particular fork. If you're curious about these centerpieces we did, they're very simple designs. You can experiment. You can come to the store and I can show you how to do them. They're very simple. It only takes a few minutes to create these kind of simple scapes. I mean, you can do clams, you can do a small whale, or here we did a shark only because it's Shark Week this week. But and again, what's a clam bake without jaws? So I thought it was a cool idea.
As you can see, we have the finished product right here in the center of the table, and it's really as easy as kind of passing it around family style and just sitting here at your beautiful table that we decorated nautical themed and enjoy yourself. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of What's Cooking at Vincent Joe's. I'm your host, Katie Shimatero, and on behalf of the entire Vincent Joe's Plaza, bon appetito.